Right, my colleague was here, but I hope he's not got stage fright and left.
You're on your own.
But anyway, so my colleague Wes will be joining us in a minute. Here he comes. He just wanted a round of applause when he walked through the door, I think. Come on, Wes. We're going to tag team today, so we're going to go at pace. I know it's the kind of coming towards the end of the session today, but just firstly, we're thrilled to be here today in front of you to talk to you about what we're doing at Springpod, and we're also delighted to be a partner of People Plus and part of the SRAG community as well. And there's hopefully lots more of initiatives that we're going to roll out over the part of this partnership. So I'm Jon.
I'm Wes. Hello. I'm head of student marketing and all those kind of things. So I get to talk to all the users that we get through.
Great. So we're got lots of slides to go through. We did have video. Thankfully, we've pulled it. So don't worry about that. However, when the slides are shared, the video content will be there. And I think part of what the videos that we wanted to share are stories of some of the young people that have used the Springpod platform and what's happened to them. So the impact we've had, what jobs they've been able to secure once they've obviously experienced the world of work on our platform. So to kick off, we're an award-winning platform and we bridge the gap for young people between education and employment. And hopefully by the end of the session today, you'll have some thoughts about how you can potentially use virtual work experience, job simulations, alongside your current activities. From the outset, we aren't here to replace in-person opportunities. They are critical for young people, but many young people cannot get access. We've already seen some examples from Youth Employment UK on some stats. We've got some of our own, but in this country, 1 in 2 young people don't get access to any opportunities. Then there's lots of reasons why that is. So, and this basically gives you some of those insights. So 43% of young people, I know you can see it over there, said that education isn't equipping them with the skills that they need to get a job. And we know some of these jobs and skills don't even exist yet. So how can we can prepare them? And 71% of young people haven't received work experience. So these numbers vary. I think we had, 30%, 50%, 70%. So it does vary. And social mobility is at its worst in 50 years. For those of you working in the education space, my wife runs an inclusion centre for a big comprehensive school. There's real challenges after COVID with attendance, anxiety, which Youth Employment have flagged already. So there's lots of issues that are coming down the track that we don't yet know about. And that is going to have a huge impact on the skills and the young people going into work and feeling confident to go into work. And finally, we do lots of our own research and reports, and part of our membership with SRAG, we will share those reports as well as they come along. But 71% have said thinking about their future career was a source of stress and anxiety. And that we've seen that stat before. But also, only 8% felt apprenticeships would be their route to achieving their dream career. And 50% and students have received free school meals, as we know, are at a disadvantage to the opportunities that are out there, and it's hard to get them into work and being part of society. So what Springpod is all about is helping young people to have a brighter future by being informed about the careers that are out in the world today. So we all know, we've had people on work experience, most of them probably got no intention of going to be an accountant or a lawyer or working in, engineering, but they have to do it. So what the Springpod platform does is basically open up the world of work for young people to access. And our kind of tagline is try before you apply. And we don't only do that for industry and work, we also do it for universities as well. So if I'm a young person, like 40% of young people who do want to go to university, make sure you're going to study the right course. So we create course tasters for universities who want to inspire, but also help them with their student recruitment, so that when a young person does go to university and goes to study psychology at Liverpool John Moores, they've had a taster to really understand what that course is before they kind of go, what am I doing here? I've got to change course. And that causes multiple problems. So how do we help? So our partners. So everything we do is measurable. We've got lots of data around the work that we do with our partners, and we basically create immersive work experiences that are obviously measurable from a social impact perspective. We help our partners extend their reach. So some of our partners don't know where to start. Some of them want to scale what they already do. So in the last 4 years, we're now up to 700,000 young people have used our platform to experience the world of work. And we've got a network now of 4,000 schools and colleges and universities, and our teacher community is slowly building. We have a head of schools outreach, which basically spends her weeks on webinars, visiting schools and making sure schools and colleges get the best out of the Springpod platform. And that is testament to what Joe does, because as you can imagine, July is typical work experience time. We get inundated by schools saying we've got 25 students that can't get an in-person work experience. Can they use Springpod? And we're like, of course you can. It's free. It's open access for any young person. We create the experiences. So what's unique about us is we work with our partners to create the content. So if you imagine, and I'll explain a bit more about what a work experience program is, but we've got Gen Z experts that are used to creating content, whether that's written, video, activities, projects, infographics, slide shares that help young people immerse themselves in the reality of working for Vodafone or Siemens or someone like that. And we've delivered over 350 programs over the last 3 or 4 years. So we build these at scale and we build them quickly. So we can build a program in 12 weeks from start to finish and get that out into the market for young people to apply to it. And then how does the social value piece kind of fit into what we do? We've seen a real shift over the last year of talent teams and social impact teams coming together. We talk to lots of different people in organisations. It could be CSR, it could be heads of future talent, talent acquisition, HR directors, heads of social impact. And what our data enables them to do is to show how many young people they're engaging, the demographics of all the young people that are engaging, and we pick up things like, are they in work, what age group they are, have they got disabilities or special educational needs, if they're care experience. So we create all of that data as part of what we do. And then our partners can use that as part of their social value commitment. So I'm Coventry Building Society. I've created this online program to support what we do, because we can't physically go to every school in the Warwickshire area because we just don't have the number of people to do it. But what we do is through Springpod, we offer another 1,000 people in our community X number of hours to upskill and learn about careers at Coventry Building Society. And that's part of their community outreach program. They can then plug those numbers into whichever framework they want to. But we've also recently partnered with a leading social impact measurement tool to be able to do that for our customers as well. So how does it all work? So we create branded microsites for our customers so that they can host their own programs, not only on their own ecosystem. So if I'm on the Siemens platform and I want to find out about work experience at Siemens, I click off and I land on a Siemens website that in theory we're powering and we're building. And as our partners work with us, they're adding more and more content through us onto these platforms. We then plug in the Springpod experiences into that platform, and your microsite, if you like, is for your students to access it, for you to share with your own networks, but we also share it with our network. So if you imagine we've got a two-way distribution channel that we use, and from a global perspective, 3 months ago now, isn't it? Our programs are now accessible to young people anywhere in the world as well. So it's a really exciting time. We've just launched a big project with Meta and Jones Lang LaSalle, where we've taken their program that was so successful in the UK to America. We've translated it into Spanish for the Hispanic community in America, because they've got really big social mobility issues in America when it comes to young people. So what is a typical virtual work experience program? Well, it's kind of self-led. It's always available for young people, schools and colleges to access when it works for them. Being agile and flexible is really important now for schools and colleges. This kind of traditional work experience time is kind of going. So it can scale to any cohort size. And to give you an example of that, we could have a program for Staffordshire NHS Trust that could have 150 young people on it. Or our biggest program is we're the virtual platform for Barclays Life Skills, where we'll probably handle 20,000 young people this year for Barclays going onto that program. I would say it does help when they put some advertising on the TV, because then, you know, lots of people go to the Barclays website and end up coming onto Springpod as well. They're 7 to 10 hours in length. Students can access it on any device. And what it contains in that is what we call varied content iterations. So it's not a young person kind of logging in and just reading. We break the content up with videos, as I said, slide shares, but more importantly, we also build in tasks and activities and self-reflection exercises. So a young person can start to think, I'm really interested in civil engineering, but what is my pathway into civil engineering? And we'll show them the apprenticeship route, the university route, so they walk away from that program thinking, right, okay, I'm now inspired about that particular career. I'm going to find out more. I might go back to my school, speak to my tutor, or might speak to our parents, etc. And that's how it works. And as they get towards the end of the programs, we've spoken a lot today about employability skills. They are so important to build student confidence. So all of our programs have employability skills embedded into them. And we work with our client partners on what those employability skills are that align with their business. And we've got a bank of about 20 of those skills that are CPD certified. So we can just plug that off the shelf content in and students can go through, you know, we know we've mentioned CVs, but, you know, how to write their CV, how to do video interviews, how to do psychometric tests. You know, a big bugbear of mine is lots of companies talk to me about they want to recruit young people from low socioeconomic areas. They're kind of lining them up to fail, because the first thing they do is, here's a psychometric test, here's an SJT, here's a video interview. They've never done it before. So we try and equip them with the tools and the practices that they can then try and obviously help to apply to those jobs. They also are rewarded with a certificate of achievement at the end of it that's co-branded. We talk to them about go back to your school, set your LinkedIn profile up, sort out your connections, link in with people, etc. And that's how that part of the process works. Recently, we've also now started to create short job simulations for our partners. And what the great thing about these is schools and colleges love them, because they can do them in a classroom setting in an hour. So, you know, for those young people that might not have access to electronic devices, they can use them in the school. And to give you an example, Amazon are one of our biggest clients. We do a lot of stuff with Amazon. We launched 5 different job simulations for Amazon, because one of the problems they have is young people are applying to multiple jobs at Amazon. So they want to filter down their applications, but they want young people, instead of doing a hope and spray, actually try that job before they apply. In 3 months, 3,500 young people have completed their job simulations. 60% plus were free school meals. So this shows us that, you know, there is young people that want to learn, that might be, you know, in those cold spots in the UK. And our partners will also ask us to, and this is where Wes comes in, and he can talk a bit more about how that happens, to use our expertise to engage young people that might not be engaged in education. So when we talk about social media platforms, some clients can't use TikTok, but they can if we do it for them, and all we're doing is pointing our ads to their program on Springpod. So we will use our young people ambassadors to create content that young people will basically engage with through social media networks as well. And that's something we've been doing for Barclays. We work with big energy providers that are all, building big offshore wind farms. They've got a huge issue in terms of how are they going to find talent over the next, 5 to 10 years if they're not educating and inspiring young people about green skills, digital skills for the future. And that's how they basically plug in to our stuff. Over to you, Wes, to talk about social impact.
Go on then. So a lot of what we get asked around is, how do we demonstrate what we're doing? How do we help you guys demonstrate the work that you're doing? Because it's really hard to quantify. It's really hard for you to show the return on the amount of effort, of time, resources and money that you guys put into projects like this, to widening out that participation, to engaging the right people. So at the core of everything that we do is we want to make that as easy as possible for the clients that we work with. Because if we can help you report back, it helps you to grow what you're doing, it helps you to get more buy-in from other parts of your business, and it means that the work that you do, that we're helping, we're a part of that, we're helping you to do part of that, but showing that impact that that you are having on your local community or that national community makes a really big difference. Give me a dobber. Excellent. So a big part of what we look to do is to give you the information that you probably wouldn't be able to glean necessarily. So as part of our sign-up process for students, we're asking the questions that really help us to break down and target particular audiences. So age and gender and demographics and care experience, and what are they interested in? What do they actually want to go and do when they get older? Are they the first generation to go to university? We're able to ask those questions of our students because it's part of what we want to help share with you. They're very happy to tell us all about their lives, and it helps us to bring that information to you so that when you're looking at a particular cohort of students or users that you're trying to get applicants for, we're able to tell you, actually, you probably get 54% female on this. This is what we'll probably presume that you'll get. And we can predict all of that and actually use the analytics to help you make the decisions that you need to. The 600,000 is a little out of date. It's closer to 700,000. We're a really unique mix of users that we see. The students who are coming to us tend to not be as representative of the populace as a whole. We have far more females coming to us. Our free school meals percentage is much higher, and our ethnicity breakdown for certain subject areas is wildly different. So when students come to us and we ask them, what do you want to study? What kind of job sectors are you interested in? It could be engineering or computing and IT. We're significantly bucking the trend for what the adult population of the workforce looks like. So in engineering, we've got actually a really significant chunk of female students, 14 to 19, who really want to get into the field. But if you look out in the wider world, females in engineering is not a super well represented cohort. So we have access to those students who are openly looking for careers in areas that maybe we're not assuming that they're going to be there for. We've got some of the dobber. There we go. And part of what we do with this is we're helping industries target those specific areas where they're struggling in. One of the projects that we're working on at the moment is with a real estate and surveying business at the moment who are trying to break down that barrier of girls in real estate. It might not be an industry that you think is massively gendered, but it is hugely so. It's roughly 85 to 90% male. And so they've come to us to say, we really need to drive more women, more young women into this sector, because the kind of the perception of it is that it's mostly middle-aged white blokes, which isn't massively helpful and diverse. So we're able to build them a program that targets the particular users that they want. We're allowed to help them, we can help them drive young girls towards this program to help them understand about the industry, to learn what skills they need to develop, and to actually make that pathway a lot easier for them to then move into the next step of their roles. So we work across the board. So I won't read all of these particular success stories out. Obviously, the NHS is a massive provider of jobs and roles, but actually recruitment in local areas is really tough. There's a finite number of people in a certain area, and you can't rely on somebody coming to move out from, somebody's not going to move from Newcastle down to Somerset because they've got some health and social care roles available there. You have to engage the talent where it is. And we're able to help do that by giving students from that area, that wider area, a chance to actually experience something that they're probably not going to be able to do face to face. They're not going to know whether or not a health and social care career is necessarily the right thing for them to go and look into. We're able to offer those kind of resources, that kind of experience to students so that they're able to make a better decision about where they want to do, where they go and what they want to do. This is another one where we've worked with, again, a very male-dominated industry. We're talking a little bit more about construction is not particularly well represented in female groups. Vistry is really important for us to actually make people more aware of the different roles and responsibilities that are available. The thing you've got to remember about some of these students is that they are dealing with the same perceptions as we are. So if you have a preconception about how a particular industry is made up of, what that split is like, they will have learnt that from themselves, their communities, their surrounding family members, whatever it is, they have those same misconceptions or preconceptions, depending on whether they're right or not. So it's really important for Vistry to break down some of those barriers to make sure that as many people as possible are considering a career in house building. What are the different roles that are there? And this isn't just, how do I build a house? Because that might be your preconception about real estate and house building, but it's not. It's the civil engineering that goes behind it. It's how do we get the waterworks to work? How do we manage operations? How does finance work on a new build housing estate? I have no idea. I don't know how that works. But we enable students and users to actually find out, how do these ginormous companies actually work? What are the different cogs that work in that machine? How do I go from winning a contract to getting the house sold to the first person who wants to buy it? And so we're able to expose all of those different things and make sure that students understand a lot more about the careers that they're actually looking at. So we helped nearly 7,000 hours worth of experience for Vistry. So that is over 1,250 students from the four or five boroughs of London that they needed to help influence. They needed to help educate this group of students, and the students loved it, which is really nice. It's really nice to see. Whenever we're talking to students, we're always asking them, before they start programs and after they start programs, how do they feel about that industry? How confident do they feel about getting a role in that? And in almost every single case, students start out feeling less confident and they finish up being more confident. They feel more confident about being able to ask questions of somebody in the industry. They know what their pathways are. We see everything from before to after. It's always an improvement for students. We give them the opportunity and the access to take part in these experiences, and it improves their outlook, improves their confidence. We talked about anxiety and confidence a lot before. Most students don't get the chance to try a lot of these things. Giving them an opportunity to actually test, apply those skills, test out what they're able to do. Do they like this thing? It helps to build that confidence. It helps to reduce that anxiety. So what we do really helps get those students from being in a position of fear to one of confidence. This is a new development for us as well, from where we're taking just virtual experiences, which is what we've done in the past, and now helping that to transition into how does that become part of face-to-face? As Jon said, that face-to-face interaction, that engagement is super vital. We're not looking to change how that works, but to get the most out of that face-to-face, there's some pre-work you need to do. You need to understand how to make the most out of that time that you have in a face-to-face experience. So some of the projects that we're working on now takes students from a virtual, finding out about how something works, looking at what skills they might need, they progress through it, they complete it, and then the clients that we work with take them into a face-to-face environment. How do I take this student from not even considering the building trade, construction trade, to being on site, having a site tour and asking really good questions from an operations manager who's on site? It's a really nice progression that students are able to go to. And this is kind of a breakdown of some of the data. I know some of you probably won't be able to see lots of small things from the back, so I do apologize. But really surprisingly, the gender split. 45% of students were female who were interested in this role in construction. And that is not the number that I would have anticipated that we would get at all. So it shows that there is appetite for things like this amongst the non-traditional groups for a particular industry. We are well above the national average for free school meals for this. 27% of the people going through this program said they were receiving free school meals. And the demographic split in terms of race is great. You know, we are looking at a far more diverse group of students than the industry represents at the moment. So being able to open up these opportunities to more people, to different types of people, is a core part of what we do. And it's also how we make sure that we're delivering what particular clients need, particular goals that they might have for a certain project. And this is that data I was talking about before. How do people feel? That's the most important thing in my opinion, of what we do. How do we build students' confidence? How do we make them feel less anxious, less scared about a particular career? And you can see that we've got really good numbers here. I won't read all of these out, but that improvement from start to finish is remarkable. And it's a really positive story for us to be able to tell about the work that we do. There's a couple of testimonial bits in here that I think, well, I won't read them out because you can see all of them, but we gather this kind of information all the time from students, and overwhelmingly, this has a massive impact on what they're able to consider for their future. And we had some really nice, we put some TikTok videos up the other day, and we had a student come back and reply to us and said, I'm in my 3rd year of my medical degree, and I would have never considered it if I hadn't been doing things from Springpod. Which is a really nice thing for us to be able to say, like, that person over there has gone on to choose a career and choose a lifestyle based on activities that we did. We helped them discover, develop, and hone the skills that they would need to help them get there. Yeah.
During COVID, on that point, we actually live streamed a cardio operation from Newcastle Hospital because 100 students needed to get that experience on their UCAS application to medical school. So we were like, right, we've never done this before, but let's see if we can do it. So yeah, it's the kind of it was at the time, it was like no one had done it before. We had to obviously have safeguarding notices up and say you have to be over 16, but at some points, you know, we might have to stop it. But that's the sort of experiences that some of our partners want to give young people. Now, I know we're close on time, so that's absolutely fine. These will all be in your packs or follow-ups, but I hope you found that, you know, useful, interesting, thought-provoking, and yeah, we'd love to talk to more of you about how we can help you. So thank you very much.